have failed me for the last time.
Hello and welcome to Blackmans Bay Studios. And just like on the films with the Lone Ranger, the people never ever knew who the Lone Ranger actually was in real life. So, Keith, do you reckon that people will know who's behind the mask?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, some people might have guessed, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a pretty good disguise, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a pretty good disguise. And I think we should sort of get him to wear those glasses, you know, all the time, don't you? We after Dave, you drink.
Where is it? Where is it?
Hang on, see here.
Where?
Well, can't you see?
Oh no. When can I take this blindfold off?
Shit, I said Dave then, didn't I?
Oh,
who's Dave?
Oh, bollocks.
You mean off the
let the cat out of the bag, haven't you?
No. You mean Rodney?
I'll let the bloody cat out of the bag.
My name's Rodney. Why do you keep calling me Dave?
Well, because you are a Dave.
No, I'll be Rodney.
Oh, you're a Dave. No, you are a Rodney.
Well, I'm in the bloody dark. Now, what's my name? Come on. I know
Take them off.
No.
Leave the fucking things on then, I don't care.
Can I take them off now?
Yeah, you can take them off.
Where am I? What country am I in?
You're in Tasmania.
No, you said I wasn't in. You said Australia.
You're in Tasmania, which is a different country to Australia.
So you keep
yeah.
Bastards. How do I get them off?
Just pull them off like you do a normal pair of glasses.
I can't see a thing.
No. Terrible, isn't it? Well,
Welcome to Tasmania,
hello,
Dave.
mate, how are you? Can you hear us?
no, it is you, isn't it? It is you. No, it is you.
Where'd you get here?
Oh, 10 years ago. Been waiting for you.
Can I have a beer now?
You can have a beer.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, look, you probably gathered this is a bit of a special event. We've got three blokes here together in the same room for the first time since last night. Last night was 40, did I say 46 years, 44 years?
Yeah,
you know,
about 47,
something like that, years since we've all been together having a chat.
Yeah.
And we thought we'd make this little video about the Crays. Some of the stories and some of the things we've done, and it's going to be a hodgepodge, so we're not going to do it in any chronological order, are we?
Just as well. What's that mean?
But, you know, in a sort of date order, Dave.
Oh, a date order?
Yeah.
So if I went out with a girl, I've got to tell her the date?
Oh, I told you it was a mistake, didn't I? I fucking
It's
told you
getting
it was
awkward
a
already,
mistake.
isn't he?
I was always awkward. My mum said I was always awkward.
Let's kick off, Dave, with let's hit it with a big un, right? Let's hit it with a big un. Give us some of your experiences, Dave, when you worked over the Greyhound. For those who don't know, by the way, just before you do, we all worked over the Greyhound in Croydon with all your world stars, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
really
when we tell people that, they all go, you can see them go, fuck off, you know, like that. But we did.
Yeah.
Dave's got some interesting stories about sitting down with Mark Bolan and
my mate Mark and his first wife.
Yeah, go for it, Dave. Go on.
In the lost city of Atlantis.
The what?
The lost city of Atlantis.
Was it a record?
No, he was into that big time.
Was he?
Yeah, seriously, yeah. Because I got sent backstage to get him on stage. I mean, it was about 20 minutes late because we were waffling on about the lost city of Atlantis. And he was really, really into that big time. And
I didn't know he was a div.
oh yeah, he was a nice little fella.
Yeah.
I mean, he could sing well. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
But not as good as Ozzy Osbourne, though.
But I'll tell you what, though, that Mickey Finn who was with him, he's about as useless as that Andrew Ridgely and the bloke from Boney M. You know, complete waste of space.
Total. But having said that, they were a good band.
Yeah, well, he was a while because. I mean, but don't forget he sold out, didn't he? Your Mark Bolan.
Yeah, I mean,
when he was T-Rex, he was into all that.
Yeah,
then he went commercialised.
I bought
White
Swan.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I thought it was all right. Yeah.
I still think one of the best nights I personally had was with Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
They were sitting backstage, and I can't remember. Simon was a DJ, if I remember right. He used to play on the mic. He used to have the microphone with his tape recorder.
Yeah.
And he put silly songs on, but everyone liked him. But yeah, Ozzy Osbourne was absolutely paralytic, a whole lot of them were. And he went on stage and they were chatting about what they were going to play in what order. And one of the songs he sang, he made up on the night. Quite literally. But then there was Status Quo.
Yeah.
They were probably the most popular one over there, weren't
they? Well, how many times will you see them?
Loads.
Because when they first started playing the Greyhound, they were just a support band.
Yeah, that's right.
They played there for nothing, didn't they?
Like 3 or 4 times. Then they played the Greyhound. We did the Greyhound, Fox Under the Hill, the Surrey Rooms, Tosh
Lord's Taverner in the cricket ground in the Oval.
Yeah,
Winning Post.
Yeah,
Big Apple.
Big Brighton.
Yeah.
That was the night Ginger Baker, I'll never forget him, pissed out the window on the bingo cue. Quite literally.
That's what I remember about Ginger Baker's Air Force, as it was called.
That's what it was, yeah.
It's that they'd start a song, and then in between there'd be about a 20-minute drum solo, and then the song would finish, and they was all the same. And I thought, yeah, I'll get it. You're a fucking good drummer. All right.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. This particular night, it was on a Saturday, it was with your brother Kenny. And there was a report of someone peeing out the window over the bingo queue. And we knew who it was and what was happening. By the time the police arrived and got up the stairs, because it was on the top floor, if you remember.
Yeah, well, hang on, what you're missing the point is they said it was some tall ginger bloke and Dave got arrested. Yeah, go on anyway. Go on.
That was afterwards. Totally different offence. But we had to move all the entourage and all their gear out of one dressing room into another one. And Stevie Pebble was keeping his copper at bay at the door. And Kenny and I were in there like madmen, sort of moving stuff. And we finally sort of gave him the nod. And this copper walked in, sort of looked around and thought, oh, there's nothing there. It couldn't be true. But little did he know that we moved all the stuff.
But there was some good times over there. We, we used to...
What was
used
the
to
night,
cry, we laughed in sometimes.
what was the night they had the bicycle song? It wasn't Mungo Jerry, was it?
No.
Mungo Jerry was in the summertime.
Yeah, but the ones that
We sang on stage with him, didn't we?
Yeah, the one that did the bicycle song.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
I remember the
They,
song.
we used to get 700 people in there on a good night. And the night they were on, we had about 40 people in there. Because it was a mums and dads nights.
Yeah.
And we got chatting at the bar, and I had my old Hudson, and Kenny, Paul Morby, I think Brian, Teddy Godwin was with us that night. We got round by Croydon East Station, and the back lights were out on my motor. So the old Bill sort of pulled me up and gave me a rollicking about having no lights. And not Mungo Jerry, they come to me bicycle, I can't think their name.
Yeah, I know the
Anyways, they turned up in their sort of caravanette thing, because we were out previously talking about my old car. And this couple recognised the geezer, started talking to him, asking for his autograph, and told me to bog off.
So you Dave, what was life living like? What was life like living in Breakspears Drive? Because I mean, like we've said in previous ones, it was your big family area, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, big families all the way.
Yeah.
I mean, you had, I'm just trying to think, you had the Rutherfords at 26, can't remember who was the next door, then you had the Breeds, the Thorns, originally the Taylors, then the Thorns, you had the Godwoods, the Loveridges, the Holidays and then the Mumfords, then you went up to the Osborns and on. Who was the geezer in the telly? Martin
Skinner.
Martin Skinner. Yeah.
But yeah, when you think obviously us, we had the Lewises, the Godwoods, the Godwoods were at 36, you had Annie Mac,
Yeah.
then the Greeners, and it was chaos. Everyone hated each other. And there was my older brother Kevin. No, that was going to sound wrong. No, I mustn't say that because he can get told off. That might be libelous. But yeah, I mean, everybody nicked everything off everybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody had a fight with everybody else, but everybody knew everybody else, and everybody really depended on everybody else.
I never really associated with the people down your in the road day because they was a bit rough.
Oh, come on.
They was a bit,
They weren't rough, they were just...
Sell your grandmother, you would. Sell your grandmother.
I did try and sell her, but my mum would buy her. Truth was known.
Yeah.
No, it was good. It was good. I mean, we had a certain loyalty. I think as kids growing up, we didn't have electronic games. We played, not careful how I say this, we played with each other. But be careful how that comes out. We played with each other in the sense that we were friends and we did things together.
Well, that's another thing. See, I mean, now, every other bastard's gay, isn't they?
Well, what about every
Well,
other
that's the way it's portrayed, right?
Which one was it?
Yeah.
I don't know about here.
1 in 4 persons gay, and I'll tell you now, it ain't me. Right?
Good God for that.
And you never ever saw gay people, did you? There was one bloke who lived in the flats just by the Partridge, who we was always warned of, don't go near him, because he was not that he was a bit funny.
Yeah, but we also had Bob down the bottom of Breakspears.
Yeah.
You were told not to go in Bob's house, whatever happened.
I did. But anyway.
Well, you got out then.
I went in there and buried his dog. Anyway.
You're the bastard that killed it.
I had to bury his dog.
I got accused of killing it. But Bob was a known, what you would call today, and I use the word openly, a paedophile. And it was a fact that the police knew, but they knew who he was, where he was, and what he was up to. And we were just told, yes, run an errand around the shop, buy him a packet of Woodbines or a packet of sweets, but don't take the sweets off him in his house. I mean, today, you know, there's something that wouldn't happen.
He'd get run out of town, wouldn't he?
I didn't know he was a Catholic priest.
Well, you think about it wouldn't happen today because you couldn't go and buy 2 Woodbines.
Yeah, so we never had those sort of funny people, and we have said before, but you know, we had the freedom, didn't we?
Yeah.
You know, we was out till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night.
Yep, you could go over the orchard, you could scrumping, you could do all sorts of things that today I don't think the kids will know how to do. And if you set a snare for a rabbit, I mean, would the kids today even know what snare is?
No,
Yeah.
no.
And when you caught a rabbit, would they know how to skin it? And would they know how to eat it?
Especially alive.
Well, that's another story.
There's been a lot of pictures up about Scabry Park. And I don't, people may not know this, but that was sort of Dave's domain, wasn't it? Because he almost lived up at Scabry. And he's always all through the building at the moat, he knew everything in there.
Well, the old boy, Major Townsend, now he was a descendant of the original owner, apparently.
Yeah.
Or I say the original owner, it wasn't, because that was Walsingham, wasn't it? Queen Elizabeth's Chancellor. But the old boy was great, because as long as you weren't nicking apples in the sense of taking them off the tree, or the pears or the cherries or whatever, he was quite happy for you to pick them up, and he didn't care.
We always took windfalls, didn't we, mate?
Always.
We had nothing else.
Oh, yeah.
But then,
I mean, put your hand on your heart, we had nothing else, did we? We wouldn't take trees off, take apples off a tree, would we?
Definitely not, no.
Which
Or
one?
the cherries.
Oh, no,
No, I never had nothing of
But if
them.
you went up there the night before and there was a heavy wind, and the wind sort of blew across and knocked the apples off the tree, then you could pick them up. But if there wasn't a wind and you went up and went like that with a tree,
Give the tree a shake.
you could pick them up in the morning. But
Just to get some glorious apples up there and all.
I think the best ones were on Lungstone, where Tommy Straff lived. Because they were big cooking apples, great big cooking apples,
Granbleys.
whatever the make they were, but they were gorgeous. And then behind the house, down on the A20, they had the eating apples there. But the old boy in there had 2 black Labradors, and if you went down there nicking them there, he knew because the dogs barked. But if you went up the top end, Perry Street end, where the cherries were, you got the right time of year, you could have a field day because he never went up there.
Yeah.
The old boy probably couldn't have got there, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the
Right,
cobnuts
okay,
down by the river, you had all the cobnut trees.
I forgot about cobnuts, that's right.
Yeah, you had all of them. And then you had another eating apple up past the moat.
Yeah.
On the, as you went up towards Chislehurst on the right hand side.
Yeah, yeah.
But the actual moat itself, when it was water in there, you had lots of good fishing.
I used to fish in that moat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a chapel or something, wasn't it? It was round.
Yeah, but what a lot of people didn't know.
There was also a swimming pool there, you know. There was an old brick swimming pool. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember
that was
that.
all overrun and
Yeah.
over.
I used to go fishing in the moat, I know that.
But they also had a basement in the house. Because when
The big house?
Yeah, when it got burnt down, that was in 78, I think, about 4 years after we got married. There was a lot of us gone up there because we were visiting my mum. And the fire brigade were there, and they'd take the water out the moat, then they couldn't get any more water, so they literally had to let it burn down.
Right.
And a lot of stuff was in the basement. There was, originally in there was like suits of armour.
Right.
Loads and loads of stuff. But unfortunately, because they couldn't get any water,
All went. Yeah.
So when did Townsend die then? When would he have died?
he died, as far as I know, he was definitely alive when the house burnt down. And then what happened to him after that, I honestly don't know, Mick.
Because I went and knocked on the door up there and asked him if I can fish in his moat.
Oh yeah.
And he said, there's no fish in there. I went, oh, all right, sorry, walked round. There was fish in there. I just wanted to see who he was, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to walk through the orchard with a shotgun under his arm. And then shortly before that, maybe 70-ish, maybe a bit before, they used to have the police training up there with the dogs.
Yeah.
And that was an experience, because you'd be nicking apples off the tree, this freaking great
Outside
conversation.
nipping at your arse.
Then a cop was sort of saying, what are you doing up that tree? So I'm minding with your dog listener.
Yeah. You mentioned Tommy Straff, and because we, you know, Pat Riding's dad, Tom, he was a fantastic. And I've known Tom and the Straff family since I was about 3 years old, believe it or not. And Tom and Eileen, and they, whatever Tom did, whether it was football or whatever, he went. I wouldn't say overboard, but he put his complete heart and soul into things.
Oh yeah,
You know, and he started in this country and western and built a country and western club. And I know we have mentioned it. And he had a clubhouse and a complete cowboy town in the back garden, did he?
Yeah, the jail, saloon, house, a bake house, as you call it.
Where people slept.
Yeah,
bunk
yeah,
house, whatever it
bunk
was.
house, the whole lot. Yeah, I mean, people used to live there, quite literally over the weekend.
Yeah.
Now, I looked at Google Street View and that, and it's all gone.
Oh yeah, it would be, yeah.
So, what happened to it? How did it come to go? Did when Tom moved away or died or whatever, did it just fall into disrepair?
Well, I think right from when Tom died, and the Daily Star, I think it was, did a big centre spread on him. It was quite a funeral, because they had an entourage of, when the hearse come down the road, your brother Kenny.
You sent me a photo. I've got a photo of it somewhere. Yeah.
Johnny Love and a few others. They walked behind with the guns, all dressed up as cowboys, and cowgirls as well. And it was quite an event, quite an emotional event actually. But shortly after that, Eileen sort of kept it going, but then there was a sort of internal rift, from what I was told. And basically after that, there was no leader.
Yeah.
Eileen put up with it for a certain period of time, and then we moved and we lost contact. But last I heard, yes, it was all gone.
Yeah, it's definitely all gone, I know.
The thing I remember about the Straff's house is, you know those big industrial teapots they used to wheel on a trolley? Used to wheel around office blocks like that, and a big handle on the front.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Eileen Straff had one of them on the go all the time.
Yeah,
so if you went round there, a cup of tea, wallop straight out like that, straight on the gas stove, you know. Because Tom used to drink that much tea, it wasn't funny.
Believe it or not, he used to get 3 cups out of every tea bag.
Yeah.
Seriously. Well, I say tea bags, he used to put it in a little tea strainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get 3 cups of tea, then he would empty it out. Tom never made a cup of tea in his life, did he? Poor old Eileen. And it would be go, go, go. But the other one I've got
had a big white enamel mug,
big,
it was a massive
Scottish
big
breakfast
thing.
cup. Yeah. But the funniest thing was the Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah, when he was at Swanscombe House. Well,
no. After that, when he was at Longstone, I was a co-conspirator of nicking a Christmas tree with Dudley, you know, the baker guy. Dudley was. Well, this tree, we took it round Tom's. It was too big for the room. This is the gospel truth. Tom and I did, with Tom's blessing, we cut a hole in the ceiling into his bedroom. And we actually put the Christmas tree through the hole. And he had a Christmas tree in his bedroom and downstairs.
Well, there was another story, the Christmas tree with the Straffs. They lived in Swanscombe House on the top floor.
Oh, I know, really very at the top.
And my old man got him a Christmas tree. I don't know where he got it from. And we pulled it. It was too big to go in the lift or up the stairs. So we pulled it up on the outside by a rope over the balcony. Pulled it up, got it inside. And after Christmas, when they decided to take it out, me and my dad went round there, and Tom said, "How are we going to get it down?" We cut it. The old man said, "Sling it over the side." And and there was some snow on the ground when at that particular time, and as we slung it out the ground, and it was wet and all of that. The spike, the bottom of the tree, it right was. I mean, it stood bolt upright at the bottom of the office block like that. Dead spot bollock.
But you know, earlier you said about how he used to put his heart and soul in stuff. The last time I went round there was the country and western music.
Yeah.
And the back wall of their living room, it had its shelves built just slightly higher than an LP record, and it was full up with LPs. You could not have got a fag paper in there.
That's right.
It bought that many LPs. All country and western.
Yeah. Willie Nelson was his favourite.
Yeah.
Of all the songs, Misery Mansion was a single that I found in a record collection, or I say a collection. We used to buy singles from America in boxes, ex-jukebox. And Willie Nelson came out called Misery Mansion. And he made it. It was done in Willie Nelson's house in America. And 10 of these were made. And Mickey Stringer and I, a friend of mine, we finished up with 4 of them. I gave one to Tom, and we met Willie Nelson at the Country and Western Festival at I think it was Wembley, if I remember right. And Bob Powell was a DJ on London radio. And he got some passes with our names on. And I got Willie Nelson to sign it. Well, shortly after that, it must have been on the same event after he was there, Tom Straff had Willie Nelson in his back garden. Which sounds incredible when you think of Willie Nelson's phone playing a gig in Tom Straff's back garden.
Yeah.
Singing al fresco.
Well, I don't know about al fresco, but he was singing. What's the words to al fresco? Yeah, but when you
Or is it al dente? It's one of them, isn't it?
one of them, something like that.
Yeah.
He was singing. But when you think of characters like that, you know, you just don't get them anymore.
No, you don't.
Well, I don't know them, other than
No.
you two silly sods.
No, I mean, you know, and I think that's what the beauty of us, you know, doing some of the stuff that me and Mick have done, and now obviously you know, it just triggers these sort of memories as we go. You know,
what we were saying last night was ski boots.
yeah.
Where did that come from?
I know. I had a pair of, and they look like boots from that Herman Munster would wear, or Frankenstein's monster. They were these massive, big, heavy boots, and Dave sold them to me. Not cheap either, I might add.
By the way, you still owe me £6.
And I used to wear these boots everywhere. It's certainly '67 when they had some really bad snow. Everybody's slipping and sliding, and me, I'm walking everywhere because I mean they had a sole on them like that, and the tread was beautiful, and kept the feet warm, and they were
They were good. That came about from a fancy dress, didn't it?
Yeah,
Which I think you've mentioned before.
yeah. We had a fancy dress ball up at the nurses' quarters, and Mick came second. I was dressed as Frankenstein's monster, and Dave was dressed up as Dracula. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And Dave was.
And I didn't
easily
even
the
know
best.
Dracula had ginger hair. I didn't.
But it was won by a black girl in a grass skirt. She looked all right, but Dave should have won
Mick,
that.
Yeah. We got,
PC Brigade back in them days, wasn't it?
you got-
Diversity.
one of the judges was a black bloke as well.
Yeah.
And we used,
When
we
he
used
was
to
dressed
go,
up or not, I'm not sure, but he was certainly black.
but we used to go parties up there. They'd end up half naked in the swimming pool up there. Remember?
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
bloody 1 o'clock in the morning.
I
Yeah,
won't
that's
talk-
some good
don't
parties
talk
up
about
there.
Don't say
didn't
that, the wife's listening.
We won't sort of go into those sorts of details, will we? Like, you know.
Not too far.
The other thing I wanted to see, people don't realise, is that I threw my first ever dart with Dave down the Alma. And we used to go in the Alma on a Friday night, have a couple of pints, and we'd play against these old geezers in there. One bloke in particular always took our money, didn't he? I got the name Clary in my mind, or
can't
something
remember
like
his
that,
name,
an Alpha or Clary, I can't remember. Always wore a cap, always started, double 16 and finished on double
Yes.
16, and he never seemed to miss. And we used to take bloody money off like it was going out of fashion, because we used to play for a tanner or something, you know. Anyway, we always lost. And as we got more and more into it, we bought a set of Jim Pike darts each, and those darts never left our side, did they? Everywhere we went, got the old Jim Pike darts out, you know.
Every long, thick.
Yeah, oh yeah, you couldn't throw these days.
You could imagine putting 3 of those in the dark, the centre board.
I know.
I just don't know.
You know, and the canes on them would bend, wouldn't they, either side? Like you could never get a dead straight cane.
There was a guy who used to play with Nels, famous dart player.
There was a few of them.
Jim, that was
Pikey was
Jim Pike was one,
Was one.
and then you had what was his bloody name?
Can't remember his name. but-
We've seen exhibitions with them
Yeah.
at the club, haven't we?
Yeah.
6
Right,
inch
now.
now.
That's it. Yeah.
Best player with
Wayne-
nails I've ever
Wayne.
seen is Johnny Bassett. I saw Johnny Bassett at 180 with 3 nails.
Yeah.
He used to throw very short little 4-inch nails, John, and he was good. And Tommy Fox, remember Tommy Fox from
Yeah.
Dover?
Yeah.
Tommy played pretty well. And the other thing we did, Dave, we had our first pint in a pub. Do you remember?
Was that the daylight in?
Up the daylight in, we used to get up there and we used to drink pints
So
a
what-
mile because it was the cheapest we could get.
What we should have was the first official pint.
Official pint, yeah.
First official pint.
Yeah.
When we actually were 18, if I remember right.
And we were brassic lint, you know, weren't we?
More than Brassic. I'll tell
No,
you.
we used to go in when we were 16. I'm talking about in a pub,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like illegal drinking in a pub
Yeah,
in the
we
daylight in, and we used to drink mile because we had, well,
From 18 a pint. wasn't
that's
it?
right, you know,
Something
we
like
had
that.
didn't have any money to spend. You got there on a Friday night. So you got there with Martin Joyce. If people remember Martin.
Yeah, there was another guy, Glenn Goring.
Glenn Goring used to come up there a little while.
Well, he lived that way, didn't he?
Yeah, and your pink come to me. Anyway,
Go on, you think of it.
no, it's coming.
One drop.
See, you get like this when we are our age, don't you?
Yeah.
Eh?
We haven't rehearsed that bit.
Oh no. Well, we don't rehearse nothing. I mean, people don't. You know, I think we astounded Dave earlier when he said, you know, where's the script? And we said, script?
What's the script?
We just sit here and yabber, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Going one forward, I put something on Facebook about rhyming slang. And I want to know if anyone out there knows what a 4x4 is and a 4x2.
I know what 4x2 is.
Yeah.
I know what 4x2 is, but don't tell everybody. But what's a 4x4? Answers directed to Keith.
A door? I don't know. What?
I'm not going to tell everybody. I'll put it up. I'll tell you what, if no one can find out what it is. And
A
it's so what?
A board?
No.
I've heard of heard of 4x2, same as the front wheel, I know.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know, we know who they are.
Yeah.
I've never heard of
4x4. Yeah. That's my little quiz for everybody out there.
Right. See who's going to be first with that. Yeah, so we're going to do one on table tennis, and you know, in fact, Dave, been an absolute blast, mate.
Well, all I can say is it's been nice meeting you all. Good night, and see you again next week.
Thanks for watching.
Who is he again?
Where am I? Help!
See you next time.
Bye bye.
Ta-da. Thanks.
This has been a Blackmans Bay studio production.